Let me now give the floor to Angelina Manola, a PhD candidate of TALOS Lab, not of TALOS project, working on her PhD initial stages, and today she's going to present on the emotion of love in the life of Theseus. Plutarch, huh? Angelina, you have the floor.
Good morning from me. The title of my presentation is The Emotion of Love in the Life of Theseus, as you can see in the first slide. The main purpose of this presentation is to discuss love and the different types of this emotion in the Plutarchan life of Theseus. For my presentation, I used Professor Rose's presentation, Proposal for an Ontoterminology of Emotions in the University of Liaocheng in China, 2024. The English translations for the original texts are from Perseus Digital Library. In this first slide, you can see a double definition of love I extracted from the OLS website, as you can see. Definition first defines love as the strong emotion that is associated with feelings of desires, warmth, and intimacy for another person. Below, I have added the tree diagram with a sequence of terms that lead to love, according to the above definition. In the same way, the second definition is presented, and the concepts that lead to it are explained. So, love can also be an emotion of a strong affection and personal attachment. You can see the full diagram. Using once again Professor Rose's presentation as a model, I separated the emotion of love into types according to two main criteria, the object of love and the consequences of each kind. The object of love can be divided in items, ideas and actions, and higher ideas such as gods on the one hand, and humans and humanity or oneself on the other. The consequences could also be either positive or negative for oneself or for others. Having the above separation on mind, from now on I'm going to present instances of different kinds of love in the Plutarchan life of Theseus. Firstly, philanthropy, which means love of humanity and humans, and appears in the following two passages. The first one, έσχητα συρρημένας αμοιβάς της φιλοξενίας του Θησέως και Λεύσαντος. And you can see the translation below. She obtained the above-mentioned honors as a return for her hospitality at the command of Theseus. This passage talks about Hekali, an elderly woman who had once offered hospitality to Theseus and had promised to make sacrifices to Zeus if Theseus returned unharmed from his battle with a marathon bull. But she died before his return. Theseus returned victorious and personally ordered that every honor be bestowed upon Hekali. From this excerpt, we can see that the hero expressed his love and his appreciation to those who had him treated well in the past. The second passage, ως και του Θησέους προστατικού τινός και βοηθητικού γενομένου και προσδεχομένου φιλανθρώπωστα των ταπεινωτέρων δεήσεις, or in English, since Theseus was a champion and helper of such during his life and graciously received the supplications of the poor and needy. In this second passage, we have, besides the term philanthropos, that connects Theseus with the emotion of loving humans. After his death, the return of his bones to Athens by Cimon, and their placement in the city center, they served as a refugee for the poor and those in need, as Theseus himself used to be kind with the weak. The result was undoubtedly positive both for Theseus, who was honored like a hero by Athenians, and for the citizens who had now a place to feel safe. The second type is self-love. Here we have the love of oneself. Here we have one passage. Αυτής δε βουλόμενος ως πρώτερον άρχιν και καθηγήστε του πολιτεύματος. But when he desired to rule again as before and to direct the state, self-love is another dimension of love that is related to the love a human shows for himself. This, of course, can lead to negative consequences when it's overwhelming, as you see in the slide, as the person becomes easily arrogant. This is exactly what happens with Theseus when he turns back in Athens after his captivity by the king of the Molossians, because he and his friend Pirithous planned to kidnap his daughter. The hero wanted back the rule of Athens, and that's when he realized that the Athenian people felt hatred, and with the corruption that had occurred in the city, they were dangerous for him. Of course, the effects were totally negative for Theseus, as after his fall to re-become the Athenian king, he fled to Skyros, where he finally died. Another type of love we find in the life is this of action and glory. We have two passages here. The first one, «Ούκ έργης ευθύς, αγαθής και πράξης υπαρέχων εμφανή χαρακτήρα της ευγενίας», instead of at once offering noble deeds and achievements as the manifest mark of his noble birth. Especially, we have in the early chapter of the biography this kind of love, I forgot to say, where Theseus seems to try really hard to highlight his value and his strength towards his predecessor Hercules. The hero is constantly searching for the labor that can give him the recognition and the love of people. So going again to the first passage, before he arrives in Athens to meet his father and show him the sandals and the sword he had left for him to find, Theseus is faced with a dilemma whether to choose the sea path or the land one. It's that first moment when the hero decides to take the hard way, the land, plenty of criminals, in order to show his bravery. His choice was correct. He successfully arrived in Athens as a hero and also saved people from many malicious elements. The second passage, «Ενεργός είναι βουλόμενος άμα δε και δημαγωγών», desiring to be at work and at the same time courting the favor of the people, his love for action and glory is also connected with this passage where he chooses to hunt the marathon bull. Again, he's completing the test, captures the boar and saves people from him. In both above cases, the love of Theseus for actions and glory seems to have positive results both for him and for people around him. The last option of love here is this for gods, or in other words, the faith in gods and generally in higher or divine powers. In the passage, «Γενομένου δε του κλήρου παραλαβών, τους λαχώντας ο Θησεύς εκ του Πριτανίου και παρελθόν εις Δελφίνιον, έθηκεν υπέρ αυτόν το Απόλλωνη την οικετηρίαν. When the lot was cast, Theseus took those upon whom it fell from the Prytaneum and went to the Delphinium, where he dedicated to Apollo in their behalf his suppliant's badge. When Theseus was about to leave Athens with a group of Athenians to go to Crete and the king Minio to pay the tribute for the death of his son, he went to the Delphinium and dedicated to Apollo a decorated branch from the sacred olive tree, Iketeria, as it was called. As we can see later in the biography, and we also know from the myth, Theseus manages to come out of the labyrinth as a winner with the help of Ariadne, daughter of Minos. So from this example, we can see that the deep faith of the hero was able to help him overcome the challenges faced. The next two slides are a first try to use study in order to categorize the types of love in accordance with some of their essential characteristics. For example, as you can see, love for gods is love for higher ideas that has positive consequences for oneself. The same happens with the rest of the terms and phrases. And here is another instance of love, philanthropy, which is defined again as the love for humans and humanity and has positive results for everyone. The criteria are the same I told you before, the object and the consequences, so I don't repeat myself. And all this information will be expanded the next period by providing some more detailed differences between them, so as to have a complete definition and ontology for each of them. And here we have some bibliography. Thank you.